good evening. It's 6 o'clock on Friday, September 2nd, 2016. Welcome and thank you for joining us tonight for the English edition of Ora News, where we bring you today's top stories translated into English every weeknight. The Minister of Transport, Edmund Hashanasta, resigns from his duties today, and it was proposed that the Assembly Speaker's Cabinet Chief, Sokol Dervashi, take on the Minister of Transport's office. Mr. Hashanasta presented his resignation to the Prime Minister, defending the decision with his political and electoral commitments in the Socialist Movement for Integration. The Vice Chairman of the Socialist Movement for Integration clarified that the SMI will soon hold its electoral convention and its program is expected to be reviewed. A few minutes after the resignation, the Prime Minister, Edi Rama, thanked the Minister of Transport for his work and for his active contribution to the government's team. The Prime Minister said he has had a very good cooperation with the Minister of Transport. Some Ora News sources say that there are no other expected movements in the government, that the resignation was made because of Hashanasta's party commitments, and that it should not be read as changes within the government, as some media have recently written. The Minister of Transport's resignation does come after yesterday's two-hour meeting between the Prime Minister and the Assembly Speaker, after which the Assembly Speaker clearly said that there is no need to discuss the coalition's future. Democratic Party Chairman Lulzam Basha and former Prime Minister Sali Berisha both commented on the Minister of Transport's resignation, calling it an effort by the Prime Minister to look innocent of the failures and abuses in his government. The Democratic Party chairman declared that the Minister of Transport's resignation does not bring new hope for good governance and emphasized that only the Prime Minister's resignation would bring hope to the Albanian people. Changes in government do not bring joy or hope because everyone knows that the theft of citizens' money will not stop, but will be intensified. This change does not bring hope because we all know that the deterioration of the people's life is a result of Rama's policies, and this cannot be changed. Rama failed to keep his promises. His renaissance was his scheme to steal people's money, declared the DP chairman. The former Prime Minister declared that the Prime Minister is trying to be seen as innocent of the failures and corruption, saying, Rama is trying to hide his failure. After spending $2 million on investments, there is not a single kilometer of constructed road. We constructed 4 roads with $1.2 million. Edi Rama cannot hide his thefts by removing the Minister of Transport. Where did the $2.1 million go, declared Berisha. The DP chairman and the former Prime Minister both stated that the Prime Minister's removal is unavoidable. The former Bank of Albania's governor will face justice again. The prosecution is expected to call him and other members of the BOA's Supervising Council for a legal proceeding for dereliction of duty. The proceedings began after the State Supreme Audit's lawsuit drew attention to how the Bank of Albania's procedures for removing damaged banknotes from the market between 2010 and 2014. In its lawsuit, the State Supreme Audit claims that the second-level banks bought banknotes from the citizens at 80% of their value, and then the Bank of Albania bought the notes from the second-level banks at 100% of their value. The State Supreme Audit says that the 20% difference illegally benefited the banks at roughly €4 million. We have learned that the dereliction of duty lawsuit was registered by the prosecution. Sources say that the actions of the persons heading the bank during that time will be investigated and that they will be interrogated soon. The investigation is being carried out by Tirana's Prosecution Task Force Unit. OSCE member countries met in Germany to discuss the need for more dialogue and cooperation on issues such as the crisis in Ukraine, the fight against terrorism and radicalism, and the migratory crisis. Albania's foreign minister was invited by his German counterpart, Frank-Walter Steinmeier, to attend the ministerial. Minister Bushati asserted Albania's commitment to strengthening peace in the region and beyond. Albania's foreign minister expressed gratitude for Germany's contribution to the region's advancement, praising the German presidency of the OSCE for recognizing the importance of interconnectedness in overcoming barriers, noting the interconnectedness agenda of the Western Balkans can serve as an example for other regions of the OSCE. One of the issues discussed in this ministerial were the challenges presented by migration flows in our continent. Minister Bushati referred to Berlin's process and highlighted the importance of this process, saying, "The Berlin process and the regional interconnectedness agenda have proved to be a key factor in strengthening political cooperation and building confidence and security in the Western Balkans." The foreign minister will continue his visit to Bratislava with an informal meeting summoned by the EU Commissioner Johannes Hahn and Foreign Policy Chief Federica Mogherini, where the foreign ministers of the EU member countries and candidate countries are invited. The U.S. Congressman Eliot Engel, accompanied by Ambassador Donald Liu, held a meeting with Parliament Speaker Ilir Meta. Expressing gratitude for the support given to Albania in past years, Mr. Meta also noted his special role in support of international recognition of the state of Kosovo. Focusing on the latest political developments in the country, Congressman Engel praised the progress made by Albania and, in particular, for the adoption of the constitutional amendments of the judicial reform. In this context, Congressman Engel praised the important role of the Assembly Speaker in the consensual adoption of the amendments on July 22nd. Assembly Speaker Ilir Meta expressed gratitude for the strong support of the U.S. in strengthening democratic institutions in Albania and in particular for the judicial reform, which is crucial for the country's progress towards the European Union and also for the fight against corruption and organized crime, which will help to increase the foreign investors' confidence and to improve the business climate in Albania. The Assembly Speaker and Congressman Engel also discussed the latest developments in the region, highlighting Albania's constructive role. They shared the common conviction that the strong Albanian-American friendship is a solid foundation for the development and materialization of strategic partnership between the two countries in the future. The U.S. Congressman also met with the former Prime Minister, Sali Berisha. After the meeting, the former Prime Minister called the U.S. Congressman a friend who has given a great contribution to Albania. He is the U.S. Congressman that has dedicated more work than anyone else to Albania and its people. I am very pleased each time I meet with him, declared Mr. Berisha, thanking the U.S. for their help given. The Democratic Party candidate for Dibra's mayor and the Democratic Party chairman, Lulzom Basha, met with Dibra village residents today where the DP candidate presented his program. Investments in agriculture and mountainous tourism, along with attracting investments that are expected to increase the employment rate in these areas, are the main points of the opposition's candidate. City Hall will be a mediator between farmers, traders, and the processors of agricultural products and livestock. The municipality will do what is called marketing because you are a small farmer. You cannot individually contract marketers. Improvements will begin immediately, and finally, a solution for the drinking water problem will be found, the opposition's candidate said. The DP chairman reiterated his promise and commitment to finish the Arbery Road, a project he states was started by the Democratic government and will be finished by the Democratic Party. The government found the Arbery Road project ready. The government does not have the courage to tell Dibra's citizens the truth. Everyone knows that the government has broken relations with the Chinese company that was contracted to reconstruct the road. The government has asked for a €40 million bribe from the Chinese company for the constructing of the tunnel. That's why the tunnel is not constructed. Through these elections, Dibra's people, on behalf of all Albanians, have the opportunity to say no to this government, to the politics of frauds, humiliation, and dismissals, declared the DP chairman, adding that the elections in Dibra are a good opportunity to say no to poverty. The majority's candidate for Dibra's mayor held electoral meetings with some residents of some administrative units in Dibra. During his meetings, the majority's candidate was accompanied by some Socialist Party MPs, and he promised the citizens investments in infrastructure, in health, and in the education systems. When asking for Debra resident support, the majority's candidate also promised to reconstruct all roads that connect villages with the center, drinking water 24 hours a day, fixing wastewater channels and irrigation systems, creating a market for selling agricultural products, an improvement in health and education services, and an improvement in tourism for the area. A Socialist MP who accompanied the majority's candidate also asked for the citizens' support on September 11th. That's all for our English edition this evening. Please join us again Monday through Saturday at 6 p.m. for your local news in English. My name is Mari, and on behalf of Ora News, thank you and good night.